Today is a very important topic on the self-defeating games that we play. Self-defeating games that we play, and at NOM, you're going to learn about the self-defeating games that we play. I'm going to explain about these strategies we use to defeat ourselves, the games. But first, as we always say at NOM, greater than 99% of stress is of our own making. 99% stress, we make it. And you might say, oh, well, I didn't ask to, not have a job. I work hard. I don't have a job. I have bills to pay. How is that stress of my own creation? And I'll say, why don't you have a job? Oh, and I fought with the manager and I didn't, and then he fired me. Why'd you fight with the manager? Well, I kept being late. Okay? So the financial stress you're having is related to an inability to navigate conflict with your manager. It is of your own making. It takes humility to understand that this is a very true statement. And you're going to have to, don't believe anything I say. Never believe anything I say. I'm a crafty guy. I'm very clever. You have to figure that out for yourself. But I'll give you a hint. 99% of stress is of our own making, and of that, there's two kinds of stress. There's conscious stress, that you know where it's from, and then there is subconscious stress. That you do not know where it's from. And greater than 99% of the stress that is of your own making, greater than 99% of it is subconscious. And less than 1% of it is conscious. So 99% of stress is of your own making through your direct or indirect actions in the past, present, or future. And of that 99% of that stress, you're not aware of why or what it is or where it's coming from. You're only conscious of less than 1%. You don't have to believe me. I'm just giving you some ideas. What is subconscious stress? Subconscious is stuff outside of your awareness. So you may have had a fight with your wife on the wedding day, or your wife's family, or your spouse's family. For all the money we put into marriages, they sure cause us a lot of heartache, don't they? A lot of pain. And every man, woman that I've ever worked with trauma who's had a marriage, their wedding day is one of the list of traumas. It's always there. It's always there. It's never not there. And so, but that's not in your mind right now. But it is stressful. It's just not in your mind consciously. You're not aware of it. But when you think about it, it's like, ooh, I get that uneasy feeling in my chest. Don't like to think about it. Just put it away. But it's still there. So that's subconscious stress. It's there, but you're not aware of it. Most of the 99% is there. But stress can be events like the marriage, but actually it can also be processes for generating stress. Processes means systems of being or thinking or acting that get you in trouble, that increase your stress. That's what we call a self-defeating game. And I'm going to give you a list of them, of the common ones. So processes is a way of being. Being that increases stress. You with me?
Yes.
Okay. So, humble people in recovery do better than arrogant people. You have to be willing to put your personality on the chopping block and allow people in your life to give you feedback about what you do, because you do not know what you do. Even me. Recovery is what I do. I live it, I breathe it, I practice as much as I can what I preach. I talk to people about communication, I treat trauma, but believe it or not, my wife knows more about how I am than I do. She knows more about my mom, knows more about how I show up in the world than I do. They'll say, yeah, you always do this thing. I'm like, really? Oh, I didn't know that. Humans are not aware of ourselves. We can be aware of others, but self-awareness is not natural. So all of you who think you know much about you, the best way to confirm what you think you know about you is to ask people around you. And if you don't want to, think about that. For a long time, I didn't want to get feedback from people. I didn't want to be told. I didn't want to ask the question because I figured something uncomfortable would come out. This is the courage that you need in recovery to examine your self-defeating processes for generating stress. Because in addiction mental health, addiction is a stress-induced defect of the mind or brain. You get stressed, you do that thing that destroys your life. Could be drugs, could be alcohol, could be lying. Nothing pees off a wife as much as lying. She doesn't care if you relapsed. She cares that you didn't tell her the truth about it. That's an example. Lying then becomes a self-defeating game. You know, some of you remember Richard Nixon. He's a president. He had the Watergate thing. It was a small thing. It wasn't like a big deal. It's like, nowadays anything seems to go. People can, they can do anything in power and not seem to get kicked out. But back then it was like a small thing, but it was the cover-up. That was what defeated Nixon. He covered up, he tried to cheat, steal, do whatever to cover it up, and then it still got out, and then it destroyed his career. Self-defeating game. Why did he cover it up? So here are a list of games that we play. I'm just going to make a list. It's in no particular order. And many of you, just like me, you'll mix and match these games. And you'll do it in a particular way. Because how we do one thing is how we do everything. So if you can catch yourself doing a game in one particular place, you're probably playing it everywhere. So, number one. I am not good enough. So, you say, I quit, I'm not good enough anyways. I can't do it. Run away. Okay? Number 2, hide behind judgment. You hide. You judge the other person. Oh, that person looks funny. I don't agree with their viewpoint. I was talking to someone today about LGBT community prejudice that people have towards that community. You know, highly prejudiced people, if you go into their home life, they're just really angry. And that's a scapegoat, but it's not about that. But judging shifts the attention away from you and your issues and your family issues, even if those people have something valuable to contribute. So hiding behind judgment. Judgment, the nature of judgment is acting on insufficient information and not trying to find it. So you don't have enough information, you have 20% information. Would any of you buy like a property with 20% information about it? Would you buy a car that you like only know 20%? Or a house? Would you? No. That'd be foolish. You're going to sink $1 million, $500,000 into something, you should know. But hiding behind judgment is 20%. Yeah, I'll buy it. Or 20% not worthless. Don't want it. And if your judgment is wrong, it will create stress for you later on, because those people you judged, they'll get back at you. We have number 3, act arrogant or superior. Arrogant or superior. I know better than you, so why should I listen to you? A lot of men do this with their wives. They like, your wives are smarter than you. I'm sorry to tell you that, but it's true. Women, 16 times smarter than men. Their minds work faster, especially around emotional situations. That's why they just know what gift to get somebody or what not. Don't act superior. But if you do, you know what's going to happen. Let's say you're really superior with your spouse. You think she's going to give you the information that you need to help live your life? No. She's going to be like, if I say that thing, he made fun of me last time, so I'm not going to give him this information. It's not worth the stress. And now you're working with less information. It increases your stress later on. When she knows you shouldn't get into that business deal with that partner because she knows something about him, but she doesn't tell you. Self-defeating game, but it's all out of awareness, so it's subconscious. Number 4. I'll show them. This is a good one. I'll show them. Yeah, you don't think I can drive my car while drunk? Well, I'll show you. You take a dare? Oh, I don't think you can do it. Oh, yeah, I'll show you. It's like an arrogant thing. And then you do that. How many of you done that? Does it go good?
Worse.
Generally a worse idea. But at the time, it makes a lot of sense. And in addiction world, it's like, this happens pretty commonly. Like, buddy puts a beer on his like
Cup holder.
On his cup holder, and this is going to remind him not to drink. And that's going to be a symbol of his strength. I'm going to show you, Dr. Gill, that I can be sober and have this alcohol or this drugs or whatever. Willpower. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but at the time it does. But later on, when he's stressed, when he gets into an argument with his wife, and he just has done. But he's not thinking about that. So it's just self-defeating game. Be a problem. Be a problem. So your spouse, your friends aren't doing what you want, so you just like sit down like a little child. You protest. I'm not going anywhere. You throw a tantrum. You get drunk. Because you don't like what's going on, rather than talking about it. But it defeats you because later on people won't want to be around you. They'll exclude you from their life. They're going out to a nice gathering. They don't want to ruin the environment. They'll just not tell you, or they'll send you on some errand. Right? But you'll find out because someone's going to post a video and then you're going to feel like bad. It's like, oh, I wanted to go. Self-defeating game that you played defeats you. Okay? Number 6, don't participate. So you have a disagreement, and you just say, "I'm not talking about this anymore. Bye bye. I'm going. I'm going home." How many of you done that? Just. I don't like what's happening. I'm going home. Running away. Silent treatment. That defeats you because the other person is still mad, you're mad, and resentment grows like a mortgage. Imagine a mortgage that you don't pay the interest. A credit card mortgage or a credit card loan, 20%, right? That's and resentment grows a lot faster than that. The controlling, manipulating. So this is also called passive aggressiveness. So you are you can't get your way straight. You disagree with your spouse. So next time you go do something for her, you don't get that one thing she likes. Because she knows. She knows why. Ridiculous. Ridiculous, yet we all do it. You know why these things are called games? It's because children play games. You must learn to identify your games because that's you being regressing to your child. Your hurt inner child, and you start acting like a child in an adult body. And so children play games. That's all they do. Number 8, break agreements. Oh, this is a good one. So this is like being late. There's 2 kinds of agreements. There's explicit, like someone paid you money and you give them their merchandise, their stuff. And then there's implicit agreements. Implicit agreements are, you're going to have coffee together with a friend, you're going to show up on time. Being on time is an implicit agreement. You don't have to say it, but by breaking agreements you become untrustworthy. I do a lot of this with being late. But I started being more on time, but you know what I found? No one else was on time. Because I'd been late so many years They planned around it, and now that I'm on time, they don't want to be on time. It creates stress. And how we do one thing is how we do everything. So, I should have probably put this on a new page. So we'll just select this. Fancy board. Oh, select it again. And I will just. Oh, maybe I'll do that afterwards. Cut. Oh. What did I just do? That's not good. Undo. Is there a book? Undo. Oh, yeah. Alright, we'll just ignore that. That didn't work. I'll have to figure that out. So, number 9. The hide behind confusion. I don't know why this happened. I don't understand why my life. I don't know why I relapsed. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say to you, even though you know. But you just I don't know. You see, because what does someone say to you if you say I don't know? How many do that? I don't know. Wife asks you something. I don't know. Or you know, but it's like I don't know. But communication is 99% nonverbal. They know that you know. And they resent you for it. And you resent them. But what do you say with I don't know as you stop the conversation? Right? Self-defeating game. Number 10. See if I care or I don't care. Dafa hojo. You do what you want to do, but you care. And when they do, you get stressed out about it. Well, you told them to do whatever they wanted to do. Number 11, drugs and alcohol. That doesn't help. Does it? Does this solve the problem?
For the moment it does.
It does? And then
for the moment.
For the moment? And then in the next moment?
No.
Is it the same problem or is it worse?
Worse.
It's worse. The condemning. Anyone you say this is bad, this person's bad, just because they disagree with you. Disagreement does not equal rejection, but a lot of people, if someone disagrees with them, in their mind, this person doesn't like me or thinks I'm bad. Well, we don't have to agree. But the game, the child game here is, if you disagree with me, you're bad. Doesn't make any sense. But that's the game. And if you say someone's bad, are they going to get you back? If you call someone bad, a lot of guys, they suspect their wives of like flirting with other men. Shak karde. They do that. And that stresses the heck out of her and you. And people who are stressed out, they don't act good. They get you back in another way. No relationship is built on condemning. And if you do it, you're just asking for stress. I'm okay. So not saying what you need. I'm okay. I'm okay. Someone asks you, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Even though you're not okay. How does that defeat you? burying your feelings, and they'll come up one day. And then people start at, he told me I'm okay. I learned that with Prabhuji, I have to ask her 3 times. I'm okay. Ask her again. Yeah, I'm okay. 3rd time, oh, okay. Here's my problem. But if I stop the 1st time, I'll assume she's okay, but she's not, and then it'll be a problem. Blaming. I relapsed because my wife did this, or because my work did that, or this person made me mad. Can anyone make you mad? Nobody can make you mad. You can blame people, but ultimately, and lots of people do, but blaming them just isn't the truth. We carry the baggage of yesterday, everything that happened from this moment, backwards. We have it all with us. And when we blame this person for all our past problems. And it doesn't make any sense. But emotionally, that's what we do. And it doesn't work. Has anyone blamed in an argument and that went well? Yeah, it went well?
No, it didn't go well.
Didn't?
No, I said I blame. It didn't go well.
Did not go well.
No.
Never does. Worrying, just thinking about the future. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Anyone do that or know someone who does that? Non-stop, they just worry about things that are out beyond their control. It occupies brain, and does that change anything?
No. Makes it worse.
Makes it worse.
It actually becomes a habit.
And it becomes a habit. Some of you don't realize you're doing these things. Telling lies. Big lies, small lies. The worst lies are 99% truth with 1% lie. That's the worst. Because it doesn't get detected easily. But once it gets detected, every one of your truths becomes suspected. Gambling addiction, it happens really badly and deeply. Lies is the worst way, and the better the liar, the harder they fall. And how we do one thing, if you find yourself lying about small things, it's how you do everything. You manipulate through information, you leave out, you present 99% of the fact and you leave one fact out. And it works. But communication is not 99% nonverbal, so they know. At some level they know. I don't know what's going on, I just don't trust this guy. Men, you can't lie to your wife. She knows. Better you tell her. Otherwise she's going to be suspecting. And then you'll have to deal with the emotional fallout of that. Lies. Number 17. I think I missed a number. Anyways.
Criticizing.
Oh yeah, criticizing. Criticizing, yes. Criticizing. Some, especially men, they're trying to be helpful. This isn't clean. Oh, this isn't clean. Or this table, it's a little messy. Oh, there's not enough salt in the food. There's not enough masala. There's not enough. Oh, it's annoying. No one listens to you. People stop listening to you if you criticize them all the time. Even when you're right. Procrastination. Procrastination. Leaving things to the last minute. And then what happens the last minute? Stress. And then you panic, and then your brain's not working, your little brain takes over, and then you make a mistake. Or you drink, or you drug, or you relapse, or something. It's a self-defeating game. Act angry. And start a fight. So you don't like where the conversation's going, so you just get really mad and just start a fight, because that's going to take the attention off of the actual issue. You're feeling shame, you don't want to talk about it, but you know if you push this button, it's just going to whoosh. You always say this, you always do this, and your in-laws did this and this and this and this. Yeah, so now you don't have to have a hard conversation. So act angry and start a fight. It's one of my favorites. 20, I'm right. मैं सही है, तुसी गलत. I'm right, you are wrong. When you have to be right, in fact, you being right is more important than the relationship. And you need that. That's going to create stress, because people are going to... No one's right all the time. I'm not right all the time. You think you're right all the time, but you're not. Most of the time you're wrong. In AA, why do we say, why do they say let go and let God? Because you're wrong most of the time. But why do you need people in your life? Why do you need your wife or your spouse or your parents or your friend to tell you that you're right? Why do you have to be right in an argument? You don't have to be right. Being right destroys your relationship with your kids. "20 years later." Okay? Any of you grow up with a parent, like dad or mom, who had to be right, and you had to tell them? Yeah, Dad, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But inside, you didn't feel it. But you don't say anything when 20 years later you have a problem with your dad or your mom, or you don't talk to them about this or that. I'm right. I get them before we get me. I'm going to end the relationship before they end it. I'm going to leave before they leave. I'm going to drink before they drink. I'm going to quit before I'm fired.
Maybe stubborn? Stubborn?
Stubborn?
Yeah, it could be stubborn.
Stop work, yes.
Stubborn.
Oh, stubborn, yes. Get them before they get me, because I don't want to feel the pain of rejection. I'm going to reject them before they have a chance to reject me. But maybe they weren't even going to fire you. Maybe they were just going to tell you, just give you a little ticket. But once you quit, you quit. Subconscious stress. And now you're in financial stress. And you're always right, so now you make some excuse why it happened. And that complicates your life. So that's how these start to mix. Overworking. Working too much. Workaholism is very damaging. Truck drivers. Any long haul truck driver?
Me.
Was that good for your family?
Good for the family, but not for me.
Was it good for your family though?
Yeah.
When you're gone?
No.
Every day?
All the time.
All the time? Does that help build relationships?
No.
You know, I used to work in the hospital. I would work like 110 hours a week, on call all the time, and then, you know, my parents would introduce me to girls, like women, for getting married, and they text me, and I would text them like 3 days later, and then I'd be confused as to why people were just not interested. Because if you're a workaholic, no one's interested. Workaholism does not. You paying the bills does not build your relationship with your wife or your spouse. It doesn't. It damages it. And then you think, oh, well, I'm paying the money. Yeah, and then they become dependent on your money. But money isn't love. It's not emotional satisfaction. Most families would prefer more time than money. That's what comes out when we start doing deep therapy with people after this has happened. Being perfect. Last one. Being perfect. Have to be perfect. Have to be 100% just on it. You can't accept anything less than the best. You know? Like, and you criticize anyone that's less than 100%. Or you criticize yourself. You performed 80%, and that's not good enough. The negative self-talk, the negative criticism of others. So this is all just a couple of the common games that we play to defeat ourselves. These things increase your subconscious stress. They are processes. That increase your subconscious load of stress. And if you don't become aware of these, some of you will have patterns. Like maybe you'll start with, feeling not good enough. And then you start worrying non-stop. And then maybe you procrastinate. Leave it for the last minute. And enough things left to the last minute, you get stressed, and then you have no choice. You have to drink. And it's the same pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to find out what's your pattern in this. And then put a name to it. First I blame. And then I condemn. And then, I hide behind confusion. And then someone may quit. Go to their room, and then they go and drink. You have to figure out your pattern. If you're going to interrupt the pattern, every one of you have a pattern. You don't have to have a diagnosable mental health addiction issue. You have a pattern for being that's disruptive to your relationships. And so this talk is about the games that we play that generate the more than 99% of stress that is of your own making. So we make our own stress, and we make the vast majority of it. Not anybody else, and most of it is subconscious, and most of it is developed through these processes that have been repeated over 30, 40, 50 years. These processes are learned from the adults in your life. Growing up, what you saw is what you do. Unconsciously. You can present this list to the family members in your life, and if they have a good relationship or the friends, you can ask them, which one do I do? If you have bravery, you should do that. And they'll tell you. Yeah, you do this one, and you do this one, and you do this one, and you do it in this order. If you have a spouse, they'll tell you. First you do this, then you do this, then you do this. If you're not aware of it, you can't heal it. You cannot heal what you do not acknowledge. So today is about taking a bit of a look in the mirror. So my apologies if I've misspoken. Beg forgiveness. This is just some information to consider. So, thank you for watching the self-defeating games that we play.